beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lua. I create content around my healthy lifestyle, just family vlogs and day-to-day stuff. The video today will be a meal prep, a typical meal prep for say a week. You could stretch it to 10 days depending on how much you actually eat. Typically be about 500 calories per serving for lunch and about 250 to 300 for breakfast. It'll be quick, easy, and delicious. So if this sounds like something that will interest you to keep on top of your calorie intake, your weight loss goals, and just stay disciplined and organized from the fridge to the microwave, then keep watching. And if similar content is of interest generally to you, healthy eating lifestyle, consider subscribing. I'm a busy mom and I try to keep healthy. All right, let's go into the video. I'm going to do my overnight oats. I've got my mason jars, and these are good old-fashioned rolled oats. In all the jars, I'll be putting half a cup of dry oats. The reason why I love overnight oats is because you can be very, very imaginative with what you want to mix it with in terms of flavoring. Just go with what you want. Anyway, to this, I add 1/4 cup of water across all 4 jars. And then I go with the chia seeds. I use 1 spoon each, giving it a pudding texture. I love cinnamon, and cinnamon is really good in overnight oats. I add 1 teaspoon in all 4 jars. And then we go with the yogurt. It gives it that creamy consistency. So I add half a cup of yogurt in all 4 jars. Notice how quickly this goes if you do it together. And then we go into the flavoring. 1, I use banana, mashed banana. It has to be very ripe, and give it a good mix. And then to the others, I add mixed berries, so kind of whatever you like in terms of berries. It can be frozen. And I add apple to the next, and the last I add some peanut butter. Give that a good mix, and then the next thing we do is we top it up with nuts. So I use walnuts and cashew nuts to give it that nutty flavor. And lastly, I add some shredded coconut. I love coconut flavor. And I top it up with pure maple syrup. And that's me done. All 4 breakfast jars done in a few minutes. I've got mushrooms, onions, tomatoes, pancetta, and then I've got my baking trays here. So I'm going to start by beating the eggs. This is another meal that your imagination can go wild with your filling, just according to preference. To this one, I added some salt to taste, black pepper, a bit of dried garlic and ginger. Again, it's according to personal preference. I love chili, so I add in some chili as well. Give it a good mix with your whisk, and I line my muffin trays just to avoid it from sticking. I used coconut oil with some tissue, line that well, and then I go in straight with the filling. So typically it will be some tomatoes, some onions. I've got some mushrooms, a bit of pancetta, and some feta cheese, depending on your preference. I intended to have 6, so it's 2 per serving, 2 egg muffins per serving. But because I had a lot more filling, I decided to just fill the whole tray for later use. Basically, to that, I topped it up with some fresh basil as well as some celery. See how quick that has gone. This is good to go to the oven for 15 minutes. Normally, I only planned to do 6, so it's 2 per serving. But I'll just keep that in the freezer, or the kids can have it for packed lunch for school, because I had all the ingredients already. So yes, it's going to the oven. Now we're on to our lunch prep. So keep watching. I've got my mixed veg here. So I had to cheat. I don't have time. You can imagine bulk cooking. Feel free to go to the shops and buy pre-packaged vegetables. The different combinations. What I went for butternut squash, suede. I went for beetroot, mixed peppers, which I added myself. I added aubergines, red peppers, shallots, as well as baby plum tomatoes. Give that a good mix with some garlic butter and herbs seasoning, with the base of 5 of my meals. That's how I try to be practical when I'm doing a bulk cook. Just, I'll put a little bit of salt, a little bit, just to give the seasoning some sort of taste. When the butter melts, it'll be okay, and this will be in the oven. It will roast for 15 to 20 minutes, and I'll mix some mixed herbs. Mixed herbs are always good with veg. Again, it depends on your palate. And chili. So I'm going to add some whole black peppercorn. I'll give that a good mix. That's it. The art of cooking really fast, you need to be very organized. So I've decided to grill my salmon and sweet potatoes together to save time. I got ready spiced salmon. So there's one which is a lemon flavor and a chili flavor. They're all 200 calories per salmon fillet. And that goes, I just spray the sweet potatoes with light spray and a bit of salt, and that goes in the oven. I'll let it bake for 20 minutes on 180 degrees centigrade. So I've got mushrooms, 2 sorts of mushrooms. I've got prawns and I've got onion. So while that's cooking, I boil my quinoa and my bulgur wheat. So it's 1 cup of bulgur wheat to 3 cups of water. So I'll let that cook alongside the kale, which is almost complete, and I'll just add the spinach now to give it the best consistency and to dilute the fact that kale is really hard. So I've got chicken breast, I've got some tomatoes, I've got some onions, chili, garlic, ginger, and tomato puree with some olive oil and some herbs. So I'm going to do a quick stir fry with 1 oxo cube, a bit of salt, to the tomato base. I add the sliced chicken breast. Just give it a good mix and make sure that all the ingredients cook together for about 10 minutes. I'll add the garlic and ginger paste as well as the chili paste. Let that cook for a few minutes, give it a stir, and I'll always top it up with some fresh herbs. And that's my meal prep done. Let's go to packaging. Oops, that's just come straight out of the oven. I'll just add some pomegranate. Other side. I've kind of added avocados and pomegranate seeds to the egg muffins. I usually will only serve the avocado when I want to eat it as opposed to putting in the fridge, but this is just for display purposes. Close that when it cools off later and into the fridge. This bowl of goodness is 250 calories. I've got my mixed roasted veg. I've got my salmon and sweet potatoes. I've got kale, mushrooms and prawns. And I've got quinoa and bulgur, as well as some chicken breast stir fry. And broccoli will be added to each of the pans. Okay, so I'll just take a portion. This is going to be for 5 portions, so I'll try to do that. It just smells so good. There is a logic to my food prep to make it easy. 5 of the 7 lunch meals, I've just used the grilled veg, which I showed you before. To each of that, I add some protein, so I always have the policy of protein, veg, and some carbs. Notice that veg is what your plate should be predominantly made of if you're trying to lose weight. So to the other, I add the chicken breast, which works out to about 4 or 5 pieces of the sauteed chicken breast to the grilled veg. And in terms of the carbs, I'll add 1/4 cup of quinoa and bulgur, which I've just measured and put in there. And each of the meals will have broccoli because it's just full of goodness and I love it. So I replicate this across the 5 bowls with the grilled veg, and I go on to the kale next. So for the kale, that is predominantly the veg. So there's going to be mushrooms and prawns, and then I just add the sweet potatoes to the other section. And because there was just an extra salmon, I added into the bowls. So that's my whole meal prep done in about an hour. I've got my breakfast, which is composed of the 4 overnight oats, as well as the egg muffins, and now lunch meals done. 7 lunches for the week and 7 breakfast meals. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed what you saw today, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if this kind of content is of general interest to you to save time, eat healthy, consider subscribing, and I can tell you that you'll have a fun time on this channel and you'll learn a thing or two. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just package this, and bear in mind that that keeps in the fridge for up to a week. And each time you just need to eat it, you warm it in the microwave, and it's good and easy to go. Same thing like the breakfast ones, it's the same time in terms of keeping in the fridge.